Hello, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. So, I was watching yesterday when they were showing the exodus of people from Ukraine entering Poland, and I was thinking how wonderful it was Poland with allowing people to come into their country without any documents. They didn't need any documents. They would help people, and that sounded wow. Because if you remember Afghanistan, when the West were dealing with the same kind of situation, they all had to queue up in sewage with their documents. If they didn't have them, they couldn't get on the planes. And so I was thinking, wow, that's so wonderful. And then, fortunately, I saw on Facebook, one of the colleagues I used to work with was mentioning something I didn't see on Sky News when they were talking about this, which was that there's people of colour who are not being allowed to flee Ukraine. It's unclear from whether it's the Ukrainians, whether it's the Polish, whether it's whoever's operating the vehicles that are taken from Ukraine to Poland. I tried to find it on a Google search. I found The Independent, ran a story on it. I'll read that in a minute. I didn't find anything from Sky News and BBC. I didn't find anything from BBC, but I did find someone who mentioned that a BBC reporter had interviewed someone. So it looks like they're burying that story. So I don't know how big a scale of an issue it is. But I guess it's not surprising in the world we live in that this is happening still. When only a few weeks ago I was mentioning the Louis Theroux program. So yeah, let me read it out for you so you can hear from The Independent. Where it is. This is The Independent, 14 hours ago. Concerns mount as black people report racism while fleeing war zone. Scores of African migrants in Ukraine are being blocked from fleeing to safety as Russian attacks continue to devastate the country. Those trying to make border crossings have told The Independent. Black people living in the region say they've been left to languish, with some taking to Twitter in recent days to share accounts of abandonment. Speaking to The Independent, Ozaram, a father of three, said he, his family members and other migrants were told to disembark a bus about to cross the border on Saturday and told no blacks. Despite challenging the driver and military officers' orders, they were ejected from the vehicle. Since then, I've been trying to get myself and focus as normal, but it's been difficult, he said. In all the years as an activist, I've never seen anything like this. When I look into the eyes of those who are turning us away, I see bloodshot racism. They want us to save. They want to save themselves, and they're losing their humanity in the process. Let's see if I can find any more. Osram, a Nigerian national who has lived in Ukraine since 2009, said he was currently stranded at a train station in Kiev, the capital city, along with thousands of others, and unsure of his next move. He says, this isn't just happening to black people, even Indians, Arabs and Syrians. Christian, 30, received a video call from his friend Winston from the Maldiva border crossing, where he claimed to have seen Ukrainian military personnel preventing hundreds of Afghans and other international citizens from going to Poland. No English, no Polish, no blacks, they told my friend. This is all about racism, Christian told The Independent. As I talked to you, I haven't slept for the past 2 days. I'm worried about hearing that my friend, my brother, is no more, that my fellow Africans have died. 24 Jamaican students who yesterday arrived and live from Kharkiv by train are now being forced to walk 20 kilometres to Poland. The country's Foreign Affairs Minister, Kamina Smith, said they were blocked from boarding the bus that was carrying students to Poland. And it's got a Twitter feed here from Dr. Ayoda Adjika, and it's got a blue tick on Twitter. Black Africans are being treated with racism and contempt in Ukraine and Poland. West cannot ask African nations to stand in solidarity with them if they cannot display basic respect for us even in a time of war. Ignored in a pandemic and left to die in a war. Unacceptable. So there you go. It's not... The Independent have covered it. They seem to be the only ones that I could find that are actually covering it. I did find a Twitter feed. This is an unticked person, Devotopia. Devi Utopia, the Polish border isn't open to all. BBC News ran a report on Zambian students being refused entry, reports of Indian students also having problems, and the reports below of Nigerian students. It's impossible not to describe this as racism. And he goes on, but they see that, that you know, when if you watch the first news story, like I did, you think, and I was telling my wife, who was a person of colour, oh, how great Poland were for you know, letting in migrants without any documents and this, that and the other. But the fact is, if I was Ukrainian with my wife and my children, who obviously are mixed, and I know I don't like to use those terms because I don't like to put people in the colour of their skin, but in the system that we live within, that's how they would be seen. And well, I would get turned away, and my wife and my children away, but they would say, you can come but not them. And of course, which I wouldn't go. I'd rather stay with them and die than to accept their racism. Can you imagine? But it just goes to show you, when you hear one story, it doesn't mean you're hearing the whole of the story. I guess that's the moral of this story, is that you can, if a reporter omits something, it can make a big difference to the whole story. And that's the duty of journalists, to actually make sure, and maybe it's a difficult thing to do, to actually tell the whole truth, every little bit of it, no matter how, you know, because obviously they may not want to tell that bit of the story because it's going on Western media, and they don't want to admit that that's happening still in this day and age, but it is. People are being helped out, but that was just as bad as the Russians invading Ukraine, saying that you can't get on the bus because of the colour of your skin. It's just as bad as the Russians going and invading a sovereign country. Will we ever learn? It just depresses you when you hear all these things that the system that we live within is allowing to continue. Anyway, take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.